Did Joseph Smith accidentally predict the Dead Sea Scrolls? In 1830–31, Joseph Smith dictated what is now Moses chapter 7. In it, Enoch talks with God face to face, sees a Son of Man in heavenly glory, witnesses cosmic judgment, establishes Zion, a city taken into heaven. An English book of Enoch existed in 1821. But there is no documented evidence Joseph owned it, read it, or copied it. No diary. No borrowing pattern. No direct quotations. Decades later, the Dead Sea Scrolls confirmed that ancient Jewish communities had massive Enoch traditions. Joseph described that world in 1830. That's worth thinking about. The Dead Sea Scrolls changed the Enoch conversation forever. When the Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered, scholars found multiple ancient manuscripts of Enochic literature at Qumran. That proved three major things. Enoch wasn't fringe. Enoch was central in some Jewish communities. Apocalyptic Enoch theology was ancient. These scrolls included angelic rebellion narratives, heavenly ascent traditions, divine judgment scenes, end-time vindication of the righteous. This matters because Moses 7, dictated in 1830, reflects the same apocalyptic world. Joseph described a theological environment that modern archaeology would not confirm until over a century later. That does not force belief, but it makes the conversation far more serious than it used to be. Phrase Son of Man appears in both Moses 7 and ancient Enoch texts. In 1 Enoch 48, the Son of Man is described as being named before creation, associated with righteousness and divine authority. In Moses 7, Enoch beheld the Son of Man ascend up unto the Father. These are parallel themes. Premortal designation, heavenly authority, eschatological role. But here's what matters. There is no clear textual copying pattern. The wording differs. The structure differs. The theology aligns. That suggests something deeper than simple duplication. Either Joseph anticipated ancient apocalyptic theology, or he restored something authentic. That's the real question. Moses 7 contains one of the most powerful and unexpected passages in restoration scripture. And it came to pass that the God of heaven looked upon the residue of the people, and he wept. Moses 7:28. Enoch then asks, "How is it that thou canst weep?" This is not a distant, abstract force. This is a relational, embodied deity. Ancient Enoch texts emphasize judgment, rebellion, and cosmic order. Moses 7 emphasizes divine grief. That is not simple duplication. That is theological expansion. And it anticipates Joseph's later teachings in 1844 about God being embodied and relational. The internal consistency is striking. Not a copy, an expansion. Enoch in 1821. Yes, Richard Lawrence published an English translation of the Book of Enoch in 1821. That is not disputed. But here is what the historical record does not show. No evidence Joseph Smith owned a copy, no diary reference to reading it, no documented quotation from it, no clear borrowing pattern in Moses 7. Modern scholars debate whether indirect exposure was possible. Possible? Yes. Proven? No. That distinction matters. Historical claims require evidence. Possibility is not proof. Participated in Moses 7. In 1830, Moses 7 presents Enoch speaking with God face to face, a relational, embodied deity, Zion taken up into heaven, a heavenly order beyond mortal life. 14 years later, in 1844, Joseph Smith publicly taught, God is an exalted, embodied being. Humans may grow to become like God. Divine councils exist. Eternal progression is real. The theology of 1844 did not appear out of nowhere. The seeds were already present in 1830. That internal consistency strengthens the case that Moses 7 was not a late invention, but part of a developing, coherent restoration framework. Ancient Enoch traditions existed. The Dead Sea Scrolls confirm that. Moses 7 shares real apocalyptic parallels with those traditions. Direct dependence on the 1821 Lawrence translation remains unproven. And the distinctive covenant Zion theology in Moses 7 is not copied from the surviving Qumran fragments. So we are left with two possibilities. Either Joseph Smith accidentally anticipated ancient Jewish apocalyptic theology, or he restored something authentic. You don't have to accept the second option. But the first one deserves serious thought.